Right now, it says that there are a few of you guys, few of my colleagues already in the chat, but right now it's just me. Does anybody remember those old commercials that would come on like late night? It was like really the beginning of like advertising hair care for young black girls, and it was called Just for Me. And it'd be like, just for me. That's what the beginning of the show is. Do you know why? Because Tori is late. We are going to give her a pass, colleagues, because today was her first day on Colorado and Company. Now, I cannot tell Tori how proud I am of her because I'm her big brother. My job is to torment and attack. But I really am proud of Tori. And I'll say this before she comes on. Tori's had a hell of a year, losing her mother, going through changes in her relationship status, losing her job, and just Tori is a person that thrives in stability. And all of that was taken away from her. And she's just got this thing where she does not know how to stay down. And that's what I love about her. I think I can say that about all of the colleagues. And I can say that about the people from DBL, some of whom I saw this weekend, because this weekend we had a get together at our old executive producer, Chris's place. He opened up his pool, so we all hung out. My son was there. Sam was there with her two kids that are getting gigantic. And, you know, it was just a really busy, fun weekend. It's great to see Tori. It was really weird to see Tori give my son a hug because my son has shot past me in height, which I hate him for. He's probably 6'1.5" now, which is weird. So to see Tori reach up and give him a hug, it was just kind of one of those visual but symbolic moments that time has passed, because I remember bringing my kids into DBL and they were kind of young kids and you're worried about them making noise during the show. And now they're just kind of like adults. They just legally aren't, but they are very like thoughtful and they remember people. And it's just some colleagues that do have kids, you guys know, to just watch your kids grow up is this weird, it seems like it moves at a glacial pace, but then there's a moment where you open your eyes and you're like, oh my, I have grown people that just happen to be in the same house with me, but they're adults and you're getting ready to launch them into the world. And it makes you a little bit sad. But at the same time, that means that you did your job. So I just want to say shout out to Tori. If you are going to be late like this moving forward, maybe give us a heads up. That'd be nice. We're doing a little show here called Friends from Work. But I figured we would use this time to get to the stories that we probably were not going to be able to get to. Obviously, we're going to talk about Malcolm-Jamal Warner. We're going to talk about the Trump lawsuit, Colbert. We're going to get to that in the show. But in this little pre-show era that we have here, I figure let's steal a little bit of time and talk about a few things that we definitely were going to get to today. One that I just saw is that the White House just released 230,000 never released files on the MLK assassination. Interesting timing. Wow. We're going to talk about this in the show, but we're also going to talk about how at the end of last week, Friday-ish, Saturday, Trump sent out a tweet saying that the Washington Commanders need to go back to using their old moniker, which was the Washington Redskins. I feel uncomfortable saying that, but that's what the discussion is. I can say this about the Washington Commanders that used to be the Washington other name. In a time where people were not as politically savvy, people kind of let language fly a little bit more. Even in like the late 2000s, when I was just aware of things, I was like, I don't think that name's cool. Even then, everybody was like, anytime there's a team that has a name that you feel like if you had to say it at a dinner party, you would pull somebody over in a corner and whisper it, it's probably not a good nickname. It's something that very few people, except for the diehards, push back on. This story also affected me semi-personally because my hometown of Cleveland, which is the Guardians, which is named after a bridge, which really kind of symbolizes the city, because there, as you drive into the city of Cleveland from the west side, there's a bridge, and it's got guardians on both sides of it, and that's what the city is named for. And as you cross that bridge, you're almost literally driving into the stadium. So it's a perfect name. And I understand that it's difficult for some people to let go of the past, but I think everybody, when we saw the old caricatures of the Cleveland Indians, even when I was a little kid, I was like, oh my God, they were crazy, crazy. And so the fact that we've moved on, and I will give my Guardians and the Commanders props. They both said, you know, in statements released on Twitter, that while they appreciate the president's fervor for old school, they've invested in now 4 years for the Guardians and 2 years for the Commanders in this new branding. That's part of it too. You're starting to get people used to your name with huge ad campaigns, getting people used to not saying, because Washington went through a weird transition where they were the Washington, you know what's. And then before they were the Commanders, there was this 2-year period. It's almost like if you're moving out of your old house, but your new house isn't ready, so you stay in a rental for 2 years. That rental for the Washington other names was called the Washington football team. So they were their entire existence as the Washington Slurs. And then they were the Washington football team for 2 years. And for the last 2 years, they've been the Washington Commanders. So on a financial level, let's forget just like trying to do the right thing and not be disgusting. On a financial level, it's like we've put 2 years, millions of dollars into trying to get people used to saying the Commanders, saying it over and over. You guys got to remember, people have been fans of this team 40, 50, 60 years. So it's hard to get older folks to be like, oh yeah, they're the Commanders now. So over and over and over again, you've been reinforcing it. And now the president comes in and is like, forget all that. We're going back to the old school. And they're like, not so fast. We appreciate you. They said it in very lawyerly. We don't want to anger the president because he is a loose cannon and needs something to direct his ire towards. So they were like, well, we appreciate the president saying that. We'll just kind of probably stay on the course that we are on. So shout out to the Commanders and my Guardians for politely, but definitely pushing back on the idea of literally going backwards. Moving on to, who is this? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My mic works?
Is it plugged in?
Yeah.
Let me see the cord. You sound good.
Okay.
All right, maybe turn it up a little bit.
I don't know how to do that.
No, don't do it. Don't touch anything.
Okay.
don't touch anything. Just the face you were making was like the same face like when I have to reach under my car hood and I'm like, I think this is where the oil is, or explosion button. Tori, what's up? Really quickly, talk to us about your first day at the work.
Oh my gosh. First of all, hello, everybody. Oh, Lucy, I thought you were talking about my small dick energy, and I'm so glad you weren't. I have very big dick energy.
You
so
do.
Good.
I do.
That. I think I do. I want to let you guys know that it was so weird being back in the DBL studio because all I was thinking about are my DBL people, but I had a great time, and Steve Gallagher, our old audio guy, set up my whole backstage like I had it before, Al, like the tent and everything. So it was really nice to see. Yeah. So Marcy asked, is Claudia leaving? She is leaving on August 1st, and I'll be the new host of Colorado and Company. So I'm really excited. Thank you, Julie. I really appreciate your support, guys. I was so nervous, and I kind of felt like I looked heavy a little bit because I was wearing a squeam. So my back fat came out. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Some people are into that.
So that's what happened with me, but I'm so glad to be back. I forgot I need a mic stand.
Yeah, you're just holding it weirdly. It's like an ice cream cone, like, but it's like not yours. Somebody's like, can you hold this while I go to the bathroom? And you can't eat it. So now you're just holding it.
Yeah, it's all dripping.
Yeah, yes. All right, Tori. Well, we are obviously going to be keeping up with all your endeavors on Colorado and Company. I'm so proud of you, sis.
Thank you, Al. It's on, thank you. It's on NBC for anyone who looked at all, from 10 to 11 every day in Denver. And if you're not, or in Colorado, if you're not in Colorado, it's on 9news.com, 10 to 11 every day.
All right, great. All right, Tori. Well, we did most of our banter I did it filling time, and I was saying nice things about you, but you weren't here, so you didn't hear them. Yay! I get to keep my streak going. All
You're
right,
the
Tori,
worst.
I'm gonna have to throw you straight in the deep end here because I think we all were when we heard this news. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, Tortor. I just
Like,
when I saw it on my group thread from Cleveland, I was like, "That's not funny, y'all."
I screamed. I screamed when I saw it. It's Theo, if you guys don't know, he drowned on vacation with his family, Al.
Oh,
And
I
it was
agreed with his family.
funny. He was with his family and he was in these high current waters. He's only 54 and he couldn't get out. They found his body, I believe, Sunday. He died of asphyxia, caught by a high current in the ocean.
That's
Found
that
Sunday
riptide, right?
afternoon. It was in Costa Rica. The riptides can be very, very bad. You've been there, Al, right?
I've spent a significant amount of time. Somebody threw me a surprise party in Costa Rica for my birthday one year.
Oh
That's
my
how often I used to go. I had an ex-girlfriend from there. So I would go
Damn.
there. I would go to Costa Rica probably 15, 20 times a year. Back in the day, back when I lived in Miami. So I've spent a lot of time there and been in the waters. And when you go to Costa Rica, like when you go to any other cities, you see bags coming off of the baggage claim. There, it's just surfboards. It's one of the best
Oh.
places in the world to surf because
wow.
of the waves. But because of those waves, you have incredible riptides. So guess what? Black dudes from Cleveland do not get in that water because, and I'm not saying this is a shot to Malcolm-Jamal. I'm crushed by that. I'm saying it's very hard for us normal folks that are not Sam, that are not people that are dang near professional swimmers, to understand that all water is not the same.
Totally.
And, you know,
Look at
the
it.
beaches off of North Carolina, and, you know, that might be a little bit more chill. Once you get out in that ocean, you feel the power and how powerless you are.
Yeah.
Tori, if I remember correctly, we interviewed him, correct?
Yes, we did interview him, and he was a lovely individual. He was so kind and generous with his time.
Yeah. You know what really hit me about him, Tori, is he is one of the few people to successfully pull off what we should just all call the Ralph Macchio. He went from one of the most typecast characters, the Karate Kid, Theo from the Cosby Show, and he moved his career forward. He was on The Resident,
Right.
and he was doing quite well on that show.
Right.
And
He had a lot of other
weirdly,
shows. Yeah.
he did a lot of shows, but he managed to break out of a role in which everybody on the planet knew him for.
True.
And that is almost impossible to do. It's almost impossible for you to get auditions because even the people auditioning you were like, who? Theo from the Cosby Show wants to be the dad on this show, but he's Theo.
Right.
He did it. He did the impossible. And he came through the Cosby scandal, which affected all of them, fairly unscathed. He is one of the few kids that was a child star
Totally.
that made it.
You're right.
How many child stars, Tori, have we lost?
You're right. And he made it through with one of the most dangerous stars alongside him. I mean, he really escaped danger and grew out to be a wonderful individual, had a lovely family. Someone else said, and I saw in the chat, I saw him on Suits, Julie. I loved him on Suits. But that some other swimmer was also taken in, and I believe is in critical condition. So it must have just been one of those ones that like just totally surprises you. But I don't know. Theo, to me, we watched the Cosby Show every Thursday, and my parents
Absolutely.
were. It was like sit down television for us, and Theo was like, what a great, complex, honest teenage character. He was so well written. He's so well acted. Remember his friend Cockroach? Was that it? Cockroach?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good call on Cockroach.
Yeah, but he was like, he took the helicopter to prom. I remember all these really important, he almost cheated on a test. Like, I don't know. He just taught me a lot about growing up and being good to your parents. And I don't know. It was a great character that he inhabited. And I really believed he was Theo. You know what I mean? I really believed he was Theo.
And Tori, before we wrap this segment up, I want this to be a reoccurring theme or trope on our show. because unfortunately we were going to talk about people passing away because that's kind of what people tend to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's untimely. Sometimes we're happy they made it to 100 and we're like, good for you, bro.
Right.
But I don't want to just talk about people's deaths. I want to talk about how they lived. So Tori, I'll give my answer while you think, because I'm just hitting you with this. Maybe if you had showed up before the show started.
Sorry.
Sorry. I want you to tell me about your favorite Theo Cosby Show memory. Mine was, and please, colleagues, put yours in the chat. Michael Dean will pop them up. It's a tie for me. There's the episode where Theo wanted an expensive shirt, and it was called a Gordon Gartrell. And he bought it, but it was like $200 or something. And Bill Cosby went crazy. And Denise was like, I can make you one. And it was ridiculous. The sleeves were long. And
the weirdest shirt.
Yes, it was to the point where that became just a term that was used in Black culture, where like if you came out like, hey, I'm ready to go to the club with my boys, you're 22, and you come out with a shirt and people are like, dude, if you don't go take that Gordon Gartrell off and just put a black polo on, like people would say that and everybody knew what it meant. And my other tie one is when Theo got the earring. He got an earring and he didn't want to show Bill Cosby, his dad. So they were on his bed and Bill Cosby was trying to see it. Yeah, and he was just leaning back. And it was so, and then there was a point where they were leaning back looking at Dr. J, and Bill Cosby goes, man sure can get up there, huh? And it's like, it was just such a great scene. So I just want to laugh about the positivity and all the joy that he brought into our lives. Do you have a fun Theo memory really quickly?
Oh yeah, I remember Marcy's bringing up the episode where Bill tried to teach him how much things would cost. I remember they were doing it with money. They had like a
and he just kept taking that out of his hand until he had nothing.
Rip it out and he's like, that's rent, and then he would grab it. I remember when Rudy buried the goldfish and they had a full funeral and Theo was like part of it and took place. But I also felt, Amy says when he wanted to be an adult and Bill Cosby made it his room like an apartment. I totally remember that too. Does anyone remember when Mrs. Huxtable had a bad foot, like an ankle problem, and she and Bill Cosby were deciding which one was dressed better, and like the kids made a special like foot, like they made a special shoe with like sequins and stuff.
That was they had like a fashion show down the staircase.
Down the stairs, that's right.
Yes.
And then I also remember him being he was dyslexic, I believe, in one episode, and it opened that world into dyslexia in a world that I had not known. And he was just, I just thought he was great when I always loved the lip sync songs were good. In the Claire breaks her toe right before an important event to wear new shoes in a smoothness contest. That's right, with Cliff. So yeah, he was just like, I don't know. He was always the brother I wanted. Someone else wrote that too. He was just a cool brother. And God, what a great actor and human being. And he will be missed. He really will.
Absolutely. All right. R.I.P. Mr. Warner. All right, Tori, let's go on to main story that we were disappointed we couldn't get to Friday, but it's still a huge story today. Colbert is being canceled. And there are a lot of different theories as to why. I believe his show will run up through next May, which is also awkward, but we kind of did that. We were sunsetted. So, Tori, what were your thoughts when you heard this? What are your thoughts after you've had a few hours to take this in?
I have the same thoughts as when I first heard it, as a few days, and I fully believe this. There was a settlement with his parent company, CBS, Paramount. They paid $16 million to Trump to assuage a situation. Colbert made a joke about it, talked about it, felt badly about it, sort of was saying how stupid this was. He's been openly critical of Trump, and the whole situation happened and they took him down. And he is one of the greatest minds. If you didn't know, he went to Harvard. I believe he was on Hasty Pudding, I believe, which is their comedy group. He is a phenomenal improviser. a genius when it comes to politics, and to take him down and not replace even the late night show is just awful. So I stand by him. Julia Louis-Dreyfus has spoken out against Paramount and CBS. I mean, a lot of people have said, how dare you, Bobby Burke, and they stand with Colbert and wherever he goes next. And a lot of people are like, this isn't what you think it is. Don't tell me what it isn't. Don't tell me it isn't that. Like, I just seriously believe it is. I think that journalists have a reason to be freaked out about this. Comics have a reason to be freaked out by this. To censorship of our greatest comic right now that so many people tune into, Al. And I just think you would know better than I, but censoring someone like this, and I believe it was a censor, is flabbergasting to me. What do you think?
Well,
he was part of Second City. I'm so sorry.
He was part of Second City. And don't forget, he was launched on the original Daily Show as a correspondent.
Yes, and then the Colbert Report.
Right. He had the Colbert Report. John Oliver came out of that. Samantha Bee came out of that. Like Steve Carell. Steve Carell. Yes. So for us to lose that is a bigger deal than I think people are talking about. Why people think that this is a political merger and why they kept calling it a big fat bribe is Trump sued CBS, and I'm gonna put that in quotes for a reason, Tori. He did sue them for $16 million for accusing them of editing a Kamala Harris interview.
The interview, correct? Yeah.
Right. Now, I know when you guys hear that, we all go, well, you can't do that. They were running against each other. He has a right to sue them. They didn't edit. What they did was they took a full interview. They cut it in half. They aired one half, pushed pause, and then on another show hours later aired the second half.
Right.
Trump successfully sued them for that. That's, if I remember correctly, how they did the R. Kelly interview. They didn't air it all at once. They would show some. They ran it over the course of 3 days. Now, why wouldn't CBS push back and say, we didn't edit anything? We pushed pause. We did nothing. Why wouldn't they fight back? Why would they just say, what about $16 million? Would that be enough? Because now you have the subterfuge of it looking like this was them admitting wrong for editing an opponent's interview. But really, what it looks like it is, at least to me, and what it looked like to Colbert and what he called on Friday, a big fat bribe. That's why people are saying it's a bribe, because they didn't edit the interview, but yet they paid. That's the weirdest thing, because there's a merger going through with Paramount, and they don't want the president to veto that. So in order to make sure that that doesn't happen, you may be given to a lawsuit that really isn't a lawsuit.
Yeah, and how much is $16 million to CBS? They would rather take the bribe, right, and make sure that their president is happy. That doesn't sound like America. That doesn't sound right, that they're going to pay to make sure that the president is happy with their company. Since when does CBS, go ahead, Al.
No, I was just going to say, what would make the president really happy? Money, yes, but there's a guy on your network takes a lot of shots at me. He, I will admit that I looked into it. The Colbert Report, the Colbert late night show was expensive to make, but it was a staple in American entertainment. And the fact that it was just like that platform is completely wiped off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
I find that extremely startling. And
I just also feel that one of the big three kowtowing to the president is a very scary, slippery slope of what news are they going to play? What journalists are going to put on? Only the ones that he approves of now? Like, that
what
is just
stories are they going to cover, Tori?
Totally. Is it all positive? I mean, this sounds like Russian propaganda TV to me.
State TV.
Exactly. State sponsored. So losing Colbert was just, to me, so transparent. I mean, you got CBS I think Gigi said CBS would have won the suit. I absolutely believe it. My dad was actually part of a lawsuit in which all the other top 500 law firms all kowtowed to Trump. They were the only one of the top 500 to help represent Perkins and Coie. The rest all kowtowed. It's so embarrassing. And that's what Obama was saying. I know we talked about this, Al, where man up, have some balls, stand up to him. And apparently CBS didn't.
Have some balls. And you can see how when you look back through the annals of history and you go, how did, the Third Reich rise to power? How does Putin stay in power? How did some countries fight off an attempted,
dictatorship,
takeover? And it's either you have balls or you don't.
That's it.
And when one person lays down, when the Supreme Court lays down, when when comedians that make comments about the government go away, when a lot of black faces on MSNBC and all, do you remember that great purge that they had? Disappeared. Where's my black rear end at? I'm not on TV no more. So I'm just saying, like, it's something. And as they say, because I'm not a conspiracy person, what I always say about things that are conspiratorial is it's not nothing. There's a reason things are the way that they are.
I totally agree.
I just think that we need to take account of the fact that we had a South African over here destroying our federal government, stealing people's information, and then just riding off in the sunset. No coverage about that?
No.
What happened there? All right. So, Tori, we've beaten that to death. So let's go to a little bit of romance.
To be near you feels like heaven in the afternoon.
I don't know if this counts as romance, but we're going to talk about the CEO that was on the kiss cam. It was romantic. It was at a spot that they definitely liked. It'll be memorable for both of them.
It united the world, Al.
Why? Why do you think it did? Why do you think so many people
I don't know. The internet has always... I don't know. It was just such a visual story. It was such a surprise. It was someone famous. It just caught on that special magic when something viral goes viral. I mean, I saw sporting events that have the Coldplay kiss cam and everyone's like, oh no. And they like duck down.
It's its own thing.
It took a life of its own. Yeah, it really did. And now
I do like that Tron said his poor wife and kids, because can you imagine? I mean, well, his wife won't be poor, but his kids will be sad and shattered.
Right. And she took her last name down off of Facebook that they shared. And I know he's either stepped down or took a leave of absence. And then
he resigned.
He resigned. Okay, good. And made a statement that wasn't like 100% great. Black Asian says it's funny to everyone of his family. You're absolutely right. It just took on a life of its own. I don't know if the woman resigned. Do we know if she's still there or if she's taken a leave of absence?
I think she was put on a leave.
And he was not just holding her. He was holding her. Okay. He was holding her like up here.
It seems like there was a relationship there. And it's a deeper conversation. And then the girl in
the red face.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, well, before we get into the deeper conversation, the company, what's it called? Astronaut something. Michael Dean, what's the name of the company?
Well,
Astronomer. Okay, and it's a business AI company, correct?
I believe so. Astronomer.
Yes. And they they were talking about, like, for as much as this is bad for their former CEO, this is great for them because it's given them a ton of name recognition. So, Tori, I want to ask you, is any publicity, I knew I was going to mess it up, publicity, good publicity, or is that how you advertise here in 2025? Whatever, get your name out there is good.
I kind of think the last. I sort of think that it was good for the company. Do you? I mean, it sort of played into like a viral meme, and the meme can still be funny while not hurting the brand. Does that make sense? I just think like everybody on earth now suddenly knew they couldn't have paid for this publicity, I guess.
Absolutely not.
No.
Maybe that's what we're learning towards. You can't pay for people's attention. There's no matter what you do, you need something to happen. That Haktua girl,
I know.
she was drunk on the street and was talking about S and some D. And she is a household name. That
She
is,
had a
what else has she done? She doesn't play sports. She's never invented anything. She's not known for her fashion. She can't sing. She can't cook. She can't run a company. What she can do is briefly talk about S and some D, and it made her a household name. She was then able to be, make the rounds on all the A-list shows. She was able to have a meme coin named after her. And if a branding company was like, I don't even know what her real name is, but if they were like, we're going to make this girl a household name, they could have spent $100 million trying to do that, and they wouldn't have done what the Hawk to a 7-second clip did. You just have to get lucky.
Yeah, to be honest, it's luck, because anyone out there could create all these thoughts of doing guerrilla marketing and trying to be it, not so obvious, but it comes in this weird random spiral of a roulette ball, and the ball just hits, and this one thing will just go and keep going. So it was just like, it was perfect for astronomer, and it was just not perfect for everybody else in that family. But I got to be honest, we'll remember this forever. Like, people, I think, will always talk about the Coldplay concert.
Right. And I wonder, what this will have for people that are in relationships with people that are not their partner, how people will move differently.
Yeah.
When you're talking about, I see, unfortunately, a new reality within 24 hours. I couldn't read the rest of it, but yes, I think we've covered that. I will say this though, maybe we should save for a different time. I do want to have a longer conversation about cheating, because I've listened to a number of podcasts about people that have made space for cheating, and I thought it was really interesting, and it taps into something in me that your visceral reaction with everything. It's like if we say, you shouldn't ever steal. Probably in a lot of situations you shouldn't, but there are some situations where it's probably understandable, probably advisable. So I just think that there's the punishment that these two people took was a little excessive, but sometimes you get caught in a cycle, and next thing you know, you're famous for the wrong reasons. All right, Tori.
Wait,
really
go ahead,
quick.
Please. Do you think he would have been caught? I'm asking the chat too. First of all, their privacy was not invaded because you're being recorded at all times at concerts. You have no reasonable expectation of privacy whatsoever. But I do have a question. If they had just been like dancing and been like, yeah, and not done, would it have been a big deal?
No.
Okay.
It was the position that they were in. That's a position you and I have hugged, if you totaled it, for hours and hours. We've never been in that position.
Okay. You think it was this position?
Yes. That's a position that you only hold somebody that you are definitely going to have sex with in the next hour and a half. That is, we are dating. Yeah, that's a thing. And
I think they just should have stayed there. They should have just not done the duck. The duck is the cover up. What does Tori always say? The cover up smells worse than the crime. Always, always, always. Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if it smells worse than the crime.
I think it
is worse.
I think it's fishy.
Oh, okay. Last question on this. What if they were holding hands? Could you explain that away?
No. But again, no one would have cared had they not done the hiding thing. The guilt they displayed was cringingly awkward, says Black Asian. It was bad. And he couldn't have ducked faster. I mean, that man was like the speeding bullet. I mean, he dipped.
All right, why didn't they just, like, when they saw the camera going around, just separate just for then? When they go back to the concert, yeah, but like, it was like they were looking at the Jumbotron hoping it wouldn't be them, and they were like, oh, my life is over. All right, Tori, let's keep it moving. All right. Trump is famous, so we want to know what he's doing. You know what he's doing, Tori? He's suing the Wall Street Journal for 20 billion. He's really getting close to Austin Powers.
I know.
A million cajillion.
I know.
20 billion. Now,
I thought it was
Tori,
10 billion. Did he win up to
right. Well,
20?
Tori, are you familiar with the story?
I am, yeah.
Okay, talk to people about what he's upset with the Wall Street Journal about, and talk to the
Yeah.
people. As I have thoughts.
Okay, so the Wall Street Journal came out and said that there was a birthday card that Trump gave to Jeffrey Epstein, and in this birthday card, he had drawn a naked woman.
It seemed like the outline of a naked woman.
The outline, right? And in the hair area, not the top hair, but the other hair.
Pubic region.
Okay, the genital region. He had signed his name, Donald Trump, okay, in that arena. And he had said something like every day.
He definitely drew this in the 80s.
Yeah, he did, for sure.
Don't see that anymore.
Right. He was like, mysteries are our favorite birthdays, and they're always young. And then he said something like, and every day is another secret. And
it was so weird and creepy.
It was very cryptic, but it was very suggestive, very bawdy. And what's strange about this is that Rupert Murdoch owns Wall Street Journal. It's well known to be a very conservative publication. So it looks like the friend of a friend went after him. And Trump famously then retorted, I have never drawn a picture. I never drawn a picture in my life. And unfortunately, there was an auction of Donald Trump's pictures that he drew in pen of the New York skyline and other things, and signed his name exactly the same way that was famously known, and people bought the prints and they bought it. So it's clear he does draw and that he's done it before. The Wall Street Journal, in my mind, would not have put this out without doing extensive research. The birthday wish read, "May every day be another wonderful secret." That's normally the card that I send you on your birthday. Right. It's not
and
weird at all.
Let our secrets die with everyone else. Happy birthday, Tori. That's a creepy thing to write.
It's a super weird thing to do. And also to so vehemently say I didn't do it when the publication, who is supposed to be your like supporter, Rupert Murdoch, is saying that you did, shows another rift within the Trump Epstein issue. Again, I said this before, it's not Tefloning. The Teflon is not Tefloning on this one issue. $20 billion seems like a huge overreaction. Like one of your little kids, like someone's having a temper tantrum and they're like, I'm suing for $20 billion. So it's not a good sign. I don't think he will win, because the best defense of defamation, does anyone know, or slander or libel? What's the best defense?
The truth.
The truth.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that's the problem, Tori. And I wanted to ask you this in front of the colleagues so we could all get the answer. For Trump to successfully defend himself, is he going to have to prove that how does he prove this is not true? And do you think that there are other documents, photos, something like with Discovery, is everything up for being viewed, or some things can they be redacted and things like that without his name taken out? Because that was one of the things, he wanted all the documents released, but his name redacted. Did you see that story?
Yeah. That's, I mean, that runs into First Amendment and Freedom of Information Act and all that. And it goes into, does he have executive privilege and confidentiality? He thinks he does, but unfortunately this took place before he was president. There needs to be some evidence that the Wall Street Journal not only made this up, but they did it with something called actual malice, meaning they knew it was false and did it anyway to be mean, to be malicious. If he can't prove that, they win. If they can prove their sources, if they can put up the other pictures, it just has to be the truth here. So Murdoch is showing a very big crack in the MAGA controlled news in this world, and a big crack within the Epstein issue that is just not going away. And it's an enormously big story that Murdoch himself put this out, because it's just another stone in his grave against Epstein.
Do you think it seems like Murdoch has been trying to get Trump out of there? There was a while where it seemed like they were trying to push Ted Cruz and that didn't work. Right. People are saying that he's trying to push JD Vance now, because Trump, I think, is so unpredictable that that's not what they want. They want there to be a smooth, dark submarine that's going underground, torpedoing kids programs and food benefits, not anybody noticing. And Trump is above ground, like with people blowing horns saying, watch what we do to this after school program. And that's not really how they want to move. So I feel like they're trying to get somebody like JD Vance, who seems just as sinister, but a lot more capable of doing really sinister things with an incredible financial backing of Rupert and Peter Thiel and who knows who else. So it seems like they've been trying to get Trump up out of there for a while. Now, Tori, speaking of getting people up out of there, before we get out of this story, did you see that the Florida man was arrested because he threatened to kill everybody on the Epstein list?
No, I did not know that. Everyone,
Yes.
does he know who everyone is on the Epstein list?
I think that's part of the problem, Tori. We're assuming that somebody that would threaten to kill everybody on a list has an accurate portrayal. I guarantee you at the top of that was Captain Crunch, a wide receiver for a football team he doesn't like. There are just, everybody in this country is armed. Some parts of the country armed to the gills. They are pumped full of the world is coming to an end. Immigrants are taking your jobs. Haitians are eating your pets. Gays are coming for your kids in college. And they're hearing this over and over and over as they're arming up, getting ready for end times. Are we just in line to see more and more of these stories? People take, I mean, Tori, how many weeks has it been since those Minnesota lawmakers were murdered in their own home?
That's what I was going to say. I think we've already seen death and murder. And what comes from that, Al, and I totally agree with you, is, in my opinion, violence that comes from the top down. Again, it's all the threat of these people, these vermin, these other evil humans. Remember, we talked about that, these evil subprime humans. And at some point, you're right, people have to take action or else they feel like they're not supporting daddy. I mean, these are a lot of people with daddy issues that want to please the president, that want to make sure that he's protected. And it's gotten pathological. And so I think, again, I think there's some administrations that are full of fire and some administrations that are full of steel. And this one is just a blazing shitstorm of fire and brimstone. And it'll bring people to kill others. I mean, it's like the purge. We're kind of like purgy right now.
Right.
So,
but again, everybody that's doing the purge thinks that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, they think they're protecting dad. They think they're protecting their God. They've made him the higher power.
Right. Or the country. I mean, I really think that a lot of January 6ers thought that their country was being taken over. And they were like, we're going to be here to stop it. Erroneous, of course. Ridiculous, for sure. But it doesn't mean that they didn't think that. When you watch movies, it's always like a Bruce Willis character, one American in a building full of foreigners, and they're smart. It's like this one guy with no shoes on takes down this whole syndicate. And that's how a lot of Americans view themselves. And a lot of times when these guys are caught, they're like, I thought I was doing the right thing. Some are lying, but some are not. And I don't know which one is scary.
But you know what's weird, Al, just to finish what you said? I do think some of them felt they were doing the right thing, but the violence that they accompanied it with, like beating up the cops, and just, to me, that's what's so scary, is that they were willing to hurt their own to get there. I guess
that's kind of like
civil disobedience to them.
That's what they're taught too. Well, they're just like, it's just, I noticed it when we were doing DBL, and early on you started hearing Steve Bannon, years before January 6th, they were using words like traitor and treasonous.
Yeah.
You never use those words.
Yeah.
Only when it means that when you catch those people doing it, it is instant death. It is no trial. It is no tribunal. There's only one thing that you can do with a traitor.
Yeah.
And when you start using words like traitor and treason, that's letting people know, I didn't make the rules. When somebody's a traitor, they gotta go.
Yeah. And remember this, Al, you need to stand up and stand by. Remember that line? And I always thought,
nationalists,
instead of stand back, he said stand by, like await my signal.
Right.
And then he told them, we're all going to the Capitol. Sorry.
Right.
And then he didn't.
Yeah.
They did.
You need to be able to fight like hell. That's the one thing about the January 6ers. I wonder if they were ever in jail looking around in their cell like, I see all the guys that were in my Zoom chats with me. Where are all the guys that emboldened us to do this.
Yeah, they were
Where are
not
the people
there.
that showed us around the White House and
Yeah.
told us what day and definitely told people to stand down? Again, we've never talked about the fact that even though that was widely talked about on the internet as January 6th being a day of reckoning, the staff, in terms of the officers on patrol at the Capitol, would be if like an 8th grade school was coming in there. It was like a skeleton squad. They were wearing beach shorts. You know, I was like, y'all didn't know about this?
I know.
It was I don't know.
It was
Lots of questions, Tori, but we need to keep it moving. Come on. We're not going anywhere. We can't stop talking about Trump just because he's throwing everything at the wall because he is trying to get this Epstein thing gone.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. This is a story that affects both of our hometowns because Trump said that he wants the Washington Commanders, and I briefly talked about this before you were on, your Washington Commanders to go back to the Washington, I'm just going to say it, Redskins, which was their name forever. Yes. And he wants my Cleveland Guardians to go back to the Indians. So I've already spoken on it. So what do you think?
Okay. I understand that there are some teams that it was actually like the Chiefs or the Florida. There's some Algonquin tribes that actually met with Floridians, the Seminoles. Those are actually okay with tribes and Native Americans. And so some teams I'm okay with if they keep that name. The Redskins, I can't even believe I just said that. I'm from DC. My mother and father would spank me if I said that word out loud. It is horrific and horrifically racist. And I just want to say Trump's thing when he gets in trouble is like, let's change things back to the racist people, like McKinley Mountain. And this is such a trope of his. Like
they did that with army bases as well, remember?
Yeah, Fort Bragg, right? Like he just does this because it's like a go-to poker tell for him. And it just feels really middle school. And I'm gonna, you know what it feels like? A troll. It feels like he's trolling us. So he's like, they're going to get mad at these snowflakes. Let me troll them with this and troll them with that. And I just think
racism is such an old standby, Tori.
Totally.
It's just an old standby.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember in the middle of last week when the Epstein thing was just starting to kind of fall apart for him. He tried his first detour. He's like, what worked the first time? Going after Rosie O'Donnell. And he was like, I'm kicking her out of the country. And she was like, I'm in Ireland and I hate you.
Right. It's the same playbook, right? Let's rename
with the same people.
Same people. It never changes. And his brain must have loops of just the same things, right? And he thinks if I go to one of these loops, everyone's going to forget. But he forgets that we already saw this happen in the first term. So it's like, dude, this is a rerun and it's not a good one. It's just a racist rerun.
And it's the rerun, Tori, at the same, like you can tell, even like when the Epstein thing went down, he just says all the name. This is just another Democratic hoax by Hillary, Biden, Obama, James Comey, the Steele dossier. That it's just like, what are you? What?
I'm going to sue for $20 billion. I mean, they've done a study of his vocabulary, and this 80-year-old or close to 80-year-old has the vocabulary, they said, of about a third grader. And he uses very few words. He uses the same ones over the best ones, the greatest thing, the biggest crowd. It's, Julia's right. He is the emotional age of a 13-year-old. And when you get that, you got a lot of anger and hormonal outrages. And it is. I feel like we are being held hostage. You're absolutely right, Shelley. That's a great way to say that. It's a great way to say that.
Just like, I think that's why, and, I've said this to you, I think probably off camera, it's hard for me to watch any movie where there's like a president that's like coherent.
I know.
Like in Deep Impact, like there's a huge asteroid. It's going to hit the Earth. Morgan Freeman is the president. He gives like this speech like, y'all, this is about to be real bad tomorrow, but let's conduct ourselves like we always did with dignity. You just know Trump would have been like, the Democrats sent that, that's like, and so, it would just be, it's ruined movies for me to just see a president that just, our president now just seems like he antagonizes us.
Yeah.
rather than just like leading, because that's boring and you can't make money like that. But you can make it by, just annoying you know what out of out of the people, especially the people that didn't vote for you, because he makes it known that he hates us. All
Right,
right,
but it's weird
Tori.
because I don't know if anyone other than Donald Trump could have gotten away with the third grade bully thing. He just seems to be the one in everybody that it works. I don't get it. I'll never
You
get
know
it.
what I noticed? It's a little thing, but I wonder if like the colleagues notice it. He doesn't say the Democratic Party. He says the Democrat Party.
Yes. Yeah, the Democrat Party. He always says that.
Yeah, it's just like these little weird things where he just gets hung up with these words, and so he just like almost mows over them, and then makes the rest of the Republicans say the Democrat Party. So
Yeah,
now
it's
they
like a
say
Sharpie. He put a
yeah.
Sharpie over Democratic. He just changes it. He just changes what he wants. It's very strange that this to me, uneducated human being with a narcissistic personality disorder is like, that's the one we want with the nuclear codes. Like, what?
Well, Tori, I say, before we move on to burning questions, I don't know. I think we need to hit this. Okay, really quickly, Tori, your girl Ellen, who is in the UK, says she's having a great time raising chickens with Portia.
She
Which
loves
sounds
chicken.
like a show on the cooking channel, Chickens with Portia. But she says, like I've always said, a little boring. Everybody's like, I'm going to farm. And everybody's like, cool. And you get out there, it stinks to high heaven. It stinks. You're up before the sun is.
So early.
So early.
So early.
The chickens never talk back. And you're like, do you remember when I used to get limo service to the Met Gala? And now I need to go take a shot because I got a weird disease only chickens get in my pinky toe. So I got to go get that taken care of. It's not as fun as it sounds, unless that is truly in your heart. Now, if you love getting on your knees, working in the dirt, yes. Yeah. But if you just do that to blow off steam or for a change of pace, it gets slow. And now it looks like she's eyeing a return to the talk show world, but in the UK. Do you think she can be their Graham Norton, Tori?
I love Ellen. I love her stand-up. She made me go into stand-up. However, I wonder if her reputation sort of precedes her. The situation with the Ellen show was really bad. And I don't know if the UK audience cares. I don't know if they care, but her character was not seen as well. She was sort of the fake American next door because she turned out to be somewhat, according to many people I knew personally, the mean girl. Maybe Brits won't care. I do know she loves actual farming and like the chickens. She also started a gorilla rescue. I believe it was in Rwanda, or is it where Diane Fossey studied the gorillas? But she has created a full-on reservation, and she has brought Portia, and they've seen the gorillas. So gorilla safety and preservation and conservation is a major part of her. But I just don't know if the Brits would care, or if the Brits would find her type of humor funny. What do you think? You're a comic. Do you think she'd translate?
I think she would have to, in order for her to work, she would have to announce to the UK audience, hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Ellen. When I left the US, I left that fake moniker that they made me adopt behind. She still needs to accept that she's not that pleasant. And there's a lot of people that, you love him. Hugh Grant.
You love him.
She needs to Hugh Grant up her whole style. Grant going, hey, where are the babies? And here's a lollipop. You'd be like, get out of here, dog.
Yeah.
She's not being her authentic self. And I think if she does embrace that in the UK, she's like, yes, I want to do a show here, but I want to be me. I'm not that friendly. I don't want to take a selfie with you.
Yeah.
If I do, the smile is going to be as fake as I can possibly muster, but I really don't like you guys. People will be like, hey, at least she's honest.
That's true. So, people prefer that. You're absolutely right. That's true. Just so you guys know, Jane Goodall did chimpanzees in Rwanda, and she was part of the gorillas. They are different. They are very vastly different. Gorillas and apes, it's a different thing. And I studied Jane Goodall, but yeah, just letting you know, chimps and gorillas, different.
Oh, thank you. Is that from your studies?
Yeah, chimps are different than gorillas.
Colleagues, I hope she's not over your heads. Chimps and gorillas are different. I'll give
Well,
you a second. Write that down. Write
do you
it.
know do you know the difference between monkeys and apes? Do you know that?
Yeah, apes are way bigger, right?
Apes don't have tails. Monkeys have tails.
Is that from all your studies?
I studied Jane Goodall like a lot.
Okay. Well, okay. So what's the difference between an ape and a gorilla?
I think a gorilla is a great ape.
What?
A gorilla is a type of great ape, but not a monkey.
Oh.
Like a gorilla is an ape, but not a monkey because monkeys have tails.
So a chimp is a type of monkey?
I believe.
You believe? What's up with all these studies?
I think actually, I don't know if chimpanzees have monkey.
Oh,
have
now
tails.
you don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a type of ape, as Michael Dean just said. And chimpanzees are also apes. We are also apes.
Are you just finding this out?
We don't have tails.
No.
Yeah, gorilla's a great ape, but also a chimpanzee is also an ape because they don't have tails.
All right. And with that tall tale from Tori, we're going to move on to burning questions. Thank you, PhD. All right. First burning question. Michael Dean, what do we got up here? Would you date someone who still believes the Epstein list is a government cover-up? That is a good question.
What do you mean? Of course it's a cover-up. Wait. Please, the Epstein list is a government cover-up. What do you mean?
Would you date somebody that let's ask it the other way. Would you date somebody that didn't? Well, because I think there's a bigger question. This is actually a dating show idea that I had. Did I ever tell you about it?
I think so. Wait, go ahead.
The concept was it's like Love Island or whatever. You go, I'm Al, 8-pack, super hot. You're Tori, super hot. We meet on this island, and for whatever they get, 10 days, we fall in love. We're like, oh, I love her. The only thing is you can't talk about religion, money, or politics. So at the end of the thing, you and I are just like, hey, I love this girl, Tori. I think when we get back to the States, I might want to pursue a relationship. It's almost like that show Baggage where you have to reveal like what you are.
So you have to be like, I'm a raging MAGA.
I'm raging MAGA. Or I believe that weather is controlled by the government. Or I believe like all the crazy, I'm an insane doomsday prepper.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay. First of all, I like preppers because they have a lot of soup and I love soup. Secondly, I wanted to say.
They also have a lot of guns.
True. But again,
and a lot of thoughts about who should run things.
I don't mind being prepared. I actually don't mind a prepper. What I do mind is if you think the earth is flat.
Yes. Well, that would be the first person they hooked you up with on the show.
I would
so
not.
It's like, would you still, because you've learned about this person, you know what their mama's name is, you know what their daddy's name, so that's the okay.
That's a hard no. No, if it's a bananas conspiracy theory, like really bananas, we're out. We're out. I can't. And I don't know. I just couldn't do it. Could you, Al?
No, because I think that leads to other things. All right, we got 1 minute left. We're pushing it. Okay, Michael Dean, do we have one more question or is that it? All right. If your entire personality was based on your last 5 Amazon purchases, who are you?
I know who I am.
Who are you?
I'm a Korean skincare esthetician.
That's really, I'm going to look at mine right now.
Mine is all Korean skincare. I'm trying to get the glass skin, y'all.
Okay, man. Well, I bought, well, your skin looks great.
Does it?
Your skin looks great. I'm not even joking.
Okay, that might be better. I'm just going to blow it out.
My last orders were, I'm such a boomer, I can't even find it. I hate myself.
And I got this cord, which we're excited about. So what'd you get?
Oh, I looked at this trucker headset so I could talk on the phone like I work at a call center at Verizon.
I think you'd be a communications manager maybe.
Right, yeah. I kind of like that. I like hands-free. I feel like I avoid phone calls because I don't like holding the phone in my hand.
Totally understand it. Someone just said a grandma because I brought presents for my granddaughter. Someone else said a fashionable cowgirl. Is someone going to Cowboy Carter? Because that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Someone else said a hypochondriac. Totally understandable. That's totally fine. Your skin is okay. You know, I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that. I did want to be honest. I had like some really bad acne, and I went to Angel, who's our esthetician, and I got a shot. She put a shot, an injection in one.
And that, wow, she had to go there.
No.
Did she have to pick up a red telephone and be like, I need the shot? I don't care. Just get it done.
She broke the glass. We need to move.
Yeah. Yeah, people coming down slides. Yes, active military.
Yeah,
No,
she was like,
whatever
oh my
she did,
gosh.
it worked. So,
Yeah, thank you.
all right, Tori, we are going to keep it moving and end the show. But I just want to say I'm so proud of you and starting your new show today. Also, great news. We officially brought Spider Moving on as our first official sponsor. So you're going to see a new segment from them supporting them. So please go out and support Spider Moving, because they were the first but not the last to support this show.
That's
and
right.
Honestly, we couldn't have done any of this without you colleagues supporting us.
We love you guys so much. Seriously.
All the way up through now, even when Tori no shows and abandons us.
No, I don't.
Here. Colleagues, we're going to see you tomorrow. But until then, we're going to have to punch out.